T1 vs Genji kicked off with the return of the level 1 Scion cheese, and despite the fact that Genji were anticipating it, even bringing down Doran to try and cover the dive, the play was still net positive for T1, as they traded 2 kills for 1, and importantly, Paze's death meant he dropped the stacked wave, whereas Zeus could just teleport back to top lane. The bot lane situation went from bad to worse for Genji, as Ona reganked a few minutes later, finding another kill onto Paze and creating a massive gold difference between the AD carries. Doran knew that he was going to have to find an angle topside if his team were going to get back into the game, so he solo started Herald trying to save Peanut time, but Ona came over to contest. Doran tried to stand his ground, but Faker moving first from mid lane just quickly took Gwen down, and T1 gladly accepted the leash. T1 steadily choked Genji out of the game, and while Peanut did manage to steal away a Mountain Dragon at 19 minutes, it cost them 2 more kills, and also meant T1 were not going to let it happen again when they went for Baron. Peanut was sniffing around the edge of the pit, but a massive poppy ult from Ona sent him packing, and T1 took a bloodless Nash at 23 minutes. T1 then played the game out with a cold, calculated feel, never giving Genji even a sniff at a comeback, while steadily building a bigger and bigger lead before taking another uncontestable Baron, which they would use to raise top tower and the top inhib, but were stopped from taking the entire base as Paze held the line. This top pressure gave T1 free access into the bot side river, and though Peanut did manage to get into the Dragon Pit again, he couldn't find another steal as he died. T1 then ran down mid after chasing the Genji bot lane away from their base, as first Ona and then Faker gave their lives to cancel Paze and Delight's bases, allowing the rest of their team to end Game 1. Game 2 started off with what seemed like a beneficial trade, as Keria spent his flash to burn Chovies, but it would actually be the T1 support who was punished for it, giving over first blood at 4 minutes. Genji were much happier with the stable game state until 9 minutes, when Keria started off a fight with a great flash E onto Delight to cancel his W before pulling him back after his attempted flash to safety. Zeus managed to cancel Doran's TP, which meant T1 knew they could continue the play, as Faker looped behind the tower to kill Paze, before a very late TP from Chovy would only serve to hand T1 another kill, although Peanut did manage to pick up at least one in return. Genji did start to wiggle their way back into the game at 13 minutes, with a good pick onto Zeus, which T1 tried to punish by taking down Peanut. But the Viego was now Scion, and T1 got a taste of their own medicine as the zombie ran them down for 2 more kills. Later in the game, Genji once again punished Keria for stepping up too far without flash, making them think they could move topside to try and collapse on Faker, but with the Spectral Maw and Abyssal Voyage both going wide, T1 turned the play onto Delight. Peanut did manage to take down the Annie, but it was now Guma time, and the Aphelios picked up a triple kill, leading to another T1 Baron. It was then an eerie case of deja vu, as the LCK second seed repeated the strategy from game 1, running down top lane to crack the Genji base, picking up a couple of kills along the way, and then resetting before moving bot side to pick up the Mountain Soul. At 26 minutes, after sidestepping a Blitzcrank hook gave him a false sense of security, Peanut walked up to clear some vision, causing him to get blasted by Faker. The rest of Genji were then helpless against the T1 onslaught as they took game 2. Game 3 went south for Genji very quickly. As try as he might, Doran could not avoid giving first blood to Ona's Kha'Zix. It started to feel hopeless at 8 minutes when Genji's earlier game skewed Rumble comp lost the first team fight around Rift Herald. Faker and Ona blew up Peanut before Chovy was in position, and while a good equalizer would back him a double kill, the fight would swing back in T1's favour when Gumayusi and Keria arrived to finish off Doran, before chasing Delight down as well. At third Drake, even though T1's gold lead was just over 1,000, Gumayusi and Ona had both completed their second items, while Peanut and Paze were both still on 1 and parts. Genji did actually get the smite, but then overplayed their hand, trying to chase down a fight as well. It looked like they might get away scot-free, but Guma said no, flashing forwards to secure a double kill. It seemed like T1 were bored of playing the game out cleanly, and decided to flip the Baron just to feel something, but this time Peanut would not find the steal. When T1 moved into the bot river for their third Drake, Genji tried to punish an isolated Faker, but he had the damage to turn it into a 1-for-1. With Genji all showing on mid lane, Gumayusi and Keria, who both still had Baron, just ran down bot lane, taking 2 towers and an inhib before they overstayed looking for the montage, and gifted Paze a couple shutdowns. This wouldn't matter, however, as another attempted pick onto Faker would get turned around, as a stopwatch bought enough time for Lulu to get in range and delay the kill even more with the wild growth. Faker and Keria did fall, but now Genji didn't have any tools left to deal with Aphelios, and Gumayusi picked up the series-ending quadra-kill. Wait, it says here that instead of ending, Ona executed to the Nexus towers, trying to get another kill onto Chovy, which then allowed him to kill Zeus in the 1v1 and save the game? After which Genji ran to the Baron, secured the objective, and then killed 3 members of Team 1, which allowed them to run down mid and take it to Game 4. But that can't be— oh my god, it's true, that's what happened. Game 4 First Blood was a slow chase down from Peanut on Faker after he overstepped to proc his Demolish, which was insanely the cause of his second death of the game as well. Genji found random picks onto T1 players all game, and were almost 6k ahead by 25 minutes when T1 looked for a fight to swing the game, sending everything at Paze. Unfortunately for them, he had just bought a stopwatch, which allowed him to completely avoid their engage, and Genji won the fight 4-0, taking the Baron afterwards. However, T1 were not out of this game yet, and what seemed to be a suicidal engage from Ona's Nocturne actually allowed Zeus to teleport unseen onto the Genji backline, and CC pays for long enough for Gumayusi to snipe him out with the Moonlight Vigil and Faker to finish him off. With their main carry down, Genji had to head for the hills, and T1 chased down a couple more kills on the retreat. Genji continued to siege after their Baron timed out, and T1 tried to force a fight. A great cask from Doran would stop Zeus from redirecting the call of the Forge God, and only used his R on Gragas. Despite wasting their engage tools, T1 continued to chase, allowing Chovy to find a huge re-engage, which Peanut and Delight instantly followed up on. T1 had nothing left, and a 5-0 ace in favour of Genji meant the series went to Silver Scrapes. Game 5 was very cagey, as neither team wanted to make the mistake that would lose the series, and although there were a few picks here and there, this was a story of Drakes and one climactic teamfight. Genji played exceedingly passively, letting T1 secure first, second, and third Drakes completely uncontested. This put them in a tough spot at 24 minutes, as T1 were now happy to trade the fourth Drake for the Baron. As Genji moved into the bot river to contest the Soul, T1 immediately ran topside to start the Nash. Genji were forced to respond, and had to get off the dragon before they could finish it. T1 didn't want to flip the smite, and looked for a fight, but their lackluster engage tools meant nothing really came of it. As both teams moved back to mid lane, Delight saw his moment, flashing in to combo Gumayusi. Doran dived forward to follow up, but the Featherstorm took Zai to safety before the Blade Caller eviscerated Gwen's HP. Keria managed to find Chovy, quickly taking him down with the help of Zeus and Ona, who then finished off Doran as well. Faker isolated Pays while the rest of T1 killed Peanut, and the Aphelios was no match for the Cassante, leaving only the cow alive. T1 did have to awkwardly wait outside Genji's base for the minion wave to catch up, but the death timers were long enough, and T1 advanced to the upper bracket finals. Okay, cool. I now have to go watch the G2 Mad series, and then make the video on that, and yeah, that'll probably be coming out tomorrow morning, because if I have to do that tonight, I will probably lose my mind. Alright, see ya.